All right, Gio, this has got to be it. Can you hear me well, Gio?
Perfect. I can hear you clear. See you with no problems.
I guess I guess what everyone's seeing is the same thing I'm seeing. Um, you're frozen right now. Maybe try to maybe go back out and re-enter.
Let me see.
Guys, can you guys hear me well? Guys, we apologize. We're definitely having some technical issues, and it's been rough. So we appreciate everybody checking in. Um, hope everybody's well. Gio's trying to get back in. He was having some issues.
Mike, can you see me now?
I see you. I hear you. And
Perfect.
hopefully,
I'm good. I can hear you and I can see you.
okay. All right, we're back. So where we left off, so Gio, I'm gonna move along. You were discussing the DA situation, the current situation, and what the next steps are, how you feel about it, because obviously there's mixed reactions. So just wanted to get your insight on it and see what you think. And I think we were talking about a simpler time. It used to be a simple process, and now there's a lot of leagues and there's a lot of different things that are going on. And is this an opportunity for us to get back to being simple?
Definitely. I wanted, I don't know if I was clear before, but I think we need to separate Major League Soccer and US soccer because I think both are evolving and growing in a different way. I believe that in US soccer side, I think we have gotten a little bit away from our identity, who we are as a country. Because I think that was what made us successful and proud of some of the
Right.
results that we got in the past. And right now we're having a little more difficulty to be able to get back into that track that we felt we were going. And I think it has to do with simplicity. It has to do with understanding our idiosyncrasy. We have to take advantage of our diversity, but we still have to stay focused on who we are. And for me, again, the most important part is to simplify, make things clear for everybody, and focus 100% on the education of the coaches, because those are the one that will be doing the work with each team, each player, to develop those players to be not only good soccer players, but especially good people. They already have that advice from the house. They're taught that way, but it needs to continue as well from the coaches, that those that might not make it per se in soccer, they still have good memories, and also the coaches will have impacted them in a very positive way, and the focus has to stay on them on a more simple structure.
Right. So in recent years, we kind of seen a downfall, with the U.S. men's team. Um, if we get back to a simpler time, do you think that this will, how does the future look for us as far as competing in the World Cup? Do you think that we'll get back to where we were in the late 90s, early 2000s?
Not only I think that we can go back to that time. I think we can be better because we have more talent in the country now. We have more players that have grown being good talents and are playing in very good leagues in the world. Besides playing in MLS, we see some young players in MLS that are very interesting. But everybody has to understand what they're playing for. Not only because they're going to put a jersey, they need to understand what they represent. They need to understand that each game they have to give everything, and it's the most important game. And they have to go with that understanding that that we have to prevail in every game that we play, because I think sometimes right now players in their mind, they have gone in a different way to focus on other things, as I was saying before, and we need to stay focused on the right things. And once you take things serious and you put your mind into what really matters, then you start growing and you continue to compete. And I think we have a good coach at the moment with the national team that can definitely help, because he was part of that past of that group of players that participated in the national team. So I do believe that there's the talent, there's the platform, but we have to go back to what made us proud of the players that play in the 90s.
Perfect. It's just, we can sit here and we can talk about like different times, different eras. Sometimes I find myself getting into a conversation and we're always talking about, um, who was better than who? Was Ronaldo better than Maradona? Was Pele? We get into all these discussions, and I think we don't sit and appreciate the time that we're in, and we learn to grow at times. And there's no comparison. There's only what is working and what's not working, and it's different eras, and you can strive in that era, but ultimately it's for the better of the game. The game is growing, people are evolving. And I think instead of always comparing eras and saying what was good, what was bad, we need to find the solution to what's working and what's not working, and then implement that in our philosophy, implement that in our culture. But
And Mike, I think it's important also with what you're saying is that not always everyone that is coming next have to bring something new and invent something different. We have to try to find a way that we go step by step, but to the same direction, and know that we have people that every time someone is in power, it's like there's a new idea and there's a different now route or the way of doing things. I think everyone has to be at the same time participant to build something, and step by step, whoever's going to be part of the U.S. national team or U.S. soccer, that everybody has to continue to build towards the same direction, because we cannot have always that every change brings we need to restructure everything new again. So because now we have to start again from the beginning. So that's very important as well, that there has to be continuity. So that's why I believe we have to put together a group of people to make sure that we build something that can last and that can have a progression to grow.
awesome. I want to get into it a little bit now from you as a coach. First off, as far as your coaching career, how hard was it transition being the player that you were to say, okay, I want to continue to educate in the game and I want to coach? How hard was that transition for you to accept it? And what steps did you take in making that happen?
So I will say for me it was a little bit easier, but you never stop wanted to play or feel like you are a player. So during the time sometimes that I continue to play a little bit after my professional playing days, still until now, when I do my staff games, I want to win. I want to step in there and try to play the best that I can. And I'm sure that the older I'm going to get, I'm going to continue to be that way. But your mindset changes, and you understand now that you have a different role, that you have to focus on different things. And I had the fortune, that MetroStar gave me the opportunity to be able to find right away a job as a youth director at that time in 2005, 2005, 6, in which I was the sporting director as well. That was a different role back then, but I had the chance to start working with youth, directing teams, looking to try to transition players from youth to professional, and I saw that it was a passion for me as well. Kept me close to the game, and I had good feelings seeing kids progress, seeing kids develop, seeing kids in which we can not only share soccer moments, but life moments, and experiences. So every time that we saw someone succeed, it was an enjoyment, and I found a lot of passion, in that area as well. And I did that for a few years, not only with the Metro Stars. I was a little bit with Medoval, then I did the New York Cosmos Youth. And for me, that was a great time, because not only with the passion that I had, I could enjoy coaching kids, but it gave me the opportunity to try different things, the things that I had in my mind that I wanted to do as a coach, what worked, what didn't work, how can I communicate this to players. So for me, it was a great time in my soccer career to make that transition. And it wasn't as difficult maybe as other players, because I found that passion through coaching right away.
And that's, I guess, what values do you bring? And when I say values, you can actually say, you can talk about what was instilled in your youth, whether it was from mentors, whether it was from a coach. Do you bring these values into the locker room with these guys now, or have you had to tweak and adjust the way that you talk to players because maybe they don't have the same mindset you have in your day? So how do you go about holding a certain standard, and do you use your values that build your character in your current situation?
I think, first of all, I think it's always been the same. I think the things that you feel that are the most important out of creating a good human being, that has never changed. So making sure that you arrive on time to practice, that you arrive on time to games, that you are taking care of yourself the day before, that you take things seriously, that you respect your teammates, that you always act yourself with class, that you respect the referees as bad as they can be. You always have to make sure that you install that in players. But the only way also that you can do that is by two ways. Is one, making sure that you are an example, and that everything that you ask for, you're able to show. And I think the second part is to be as transparent as you can, and the way the players, they feel that they have a real person, as hard sometimes as the message could be, but they're always going to appreciate it. And I can tell you, Mike, that it doesn't change sometimes the mindset from the youth to the professional level in regards to managing the players. Yes, they're bigger individual, biggest, they're stars, and there's many things that come into account. But I still think that they have to develop. I still think that they have to make sure that they build a good locker room. There has to be good respect, and they have to be also, I believe, in the direction that we want to go, and the culture that we create around the club, and that they have to be, they have to respect the rules and respect the environment. Because I understand a player sometimes that is not happy because he's no player, and that's normal. That's what I tell the players. I understand that you're upset and you have a reason to be upset. And actually, I would be upset if you're not upset that you're not playing. But it's how you conduct yourself that matters, the respect. Because as I said before, maybe players might not end up becoming professional. Maybe they go to college, maybe they go to high school only, or youth soccer. But then when they go to work in whatever line of work they do, I think these are important things that they have to take with them. that not only come from the house, they have to come from the different, from the school, from their coach in the youth program. All things that for me are more important even than what happens inside the field. And
Right.
then the field will be successful once you conquer the things outside the field.
What's interesting about that is, when you think of Messi, everyone says, "Oh, well, he never went anywhere else to win something." But Messi took pride in where he played. That's where he developed. He was very honorable in staying where he stayed. And why does it make him different that he didn't go to a different league or to another country or to another team when he was loyal? And that's the thing, the one thing is that the loyalty and the passion is important because, yeah, you have a guy, he goes to 5 different countries and he wins, but why do we think of Messi any different because he stayed in Barcelona? He wasn't afraid, he was loyal.
And we know, Mike, that that's something that we consider amazing. The fact that he's been in one club since he was a youth, player, living from
And consistent.
Argentina. And only a few players can say that, Paolo Maldini, Totti, Giggs, so many others. You don't find that many, and I think that's valuable because sometimes they take advantage on the factor that they are loving the club that they're part of. They feel that they're giving everything to him, and he wants to give it back. And I think what we have to analyze is not that he's been so many years there. Yes, he has had good coaches, good players, but to be so good for so many years is not something that is easy. He's shown a level of quality for so many years that is very different to see it. You see in not only in soccer, in different sport, is tough. I mean, Federer is one of the few that you see. In other sports, there's not that many that you can see across so many years that you can keep such a level. And I think comparing players, that's the big problem, because I think Messi is always compared with Maradona. And Maradona was very successful with the national team. And I think his leadership qualities are different. But you cannot take anything away from Messi. He's been an example of how to succeed. And he's a very talented player that has made Barcelona be what they are at the moment, all these years.
Yeah, and we waste our time comparing anybody. You can't compare. We're watching greatness. We're watching greatness, and we're not appreciating it. And when he's gone, it's usually when people are gone is when we start to appreciate what they did for us. And when he walks away from the game, then we'll say, oh, we'll always think of. Then we'll say the positives. Right now, there's a lot of negativity, and I think that as a sport, we need to be more positive, and we need to be more supportive, and just say, listen, he's done it consistently, and we have to acknowledge that. And the one thing I love about him is that he's been loyal. So, going back to your point, and speaking with you, the past couple of days, and I think one thing that you really thrive on is loyalty and passion.
Definitely, I think it's very important, and I think we have to be away from the superficial things and respect a little bit more the things that really matter. That I think is very important. Who are those players that have been an example? And I think that's crucial, especially for young players, to have examples. I remember growing up, you always have your player or two players that you always say, these are my idols. And it depends how you categorize, those idols. It can be because they play for the team that I love, and that's why they're my idols. Or like in my situation, one of the players that I loved since I was a little kid was Gianluca Vialli, because I saw me in him. I saw him being similar to what I could potentially become. and I like what I saw from him, and he became a role model, someone that I wanted to follow, and for me became an idol in those times when he played for Sampdoria and the national team of Italy. So I think we have to focus on the right things. And I know that sometimes it's easy to just be a fan. A fan is awesome, It's like you watch the game, the good moments, the bad moments, but what can we take, that really matter, and especially if I'm a parent, to share with my son, my daughter, to make sure that they grow as human beings, to make sure that they grow as better soccer players. That I think those things are very, very important.
Right. Let me ask you a couple of questions, or an interesting question. First off, how do you value success?
For me, success, it is, first of all, in two ways: reaching something that you put your mind into, doing it with hard work, doing it with all the intangibles that are necessary to be able to succeed. That you're not alone. Always you have people around you to allow you to be successful, and you have to make sure that you remember that. But always do it, in a class and ethical way, because for me that at the end of the day will set the person that you are. And I see people that have trophies that are not respected by anybody, and I see people that that have won trophies that everybody said before even they speak about their wins or the talent. They say that's an unbelievable person. That's an example for everybody, and I think that's why that's how you want to be remembered.
And staying right there, um, and you can answer this however you want. You can answer it as a player perspective or a coach. In your personal opinion, what was the most successful team you were part of? Player
Oh,
or coach?
that's a tough one. That's a tough one because
I
I
know I
treasure
cornered you. I cornered you on this.
I treasure every club that I play with, my the shirt attached to my heart. But I have to say, talking about professional, because I can go back and tell you my college days, my Greek Americans times, that we share in New York. But what I can say, is that first is my national team. I think every time that I put the jersey of my national team, every time that I sat right before the game, listening to my national anthem, it was a moment of pride, and that I was ready to go for war for my country, in being respected. I have to say, second, the time in the Metro Stars, I enjoyed it very much because of the fact that I felt that I was part of something special that was starting, a league, an MLS league that we didn't know what the future was going to be like, but we had a dream that it could grow to be something important, and that we were, part of that foundation of that league. Second, seeing so many fans that first year, 30,000 average, and that I made a connection. And so my passion for that team, for the fans, it was incredible. And where I found it again, were in two parts. One in the Rough Riders in Long Island, with Alfonso Mondelo. We had a team that it was incredible. We won the championship in 1995. But also when I went to play in England for Swansea City, also I found myself that was part of something special with the fans, even though it didn't relate to success because we got relegated, and then I had to move on to the championship with Millwall. But I felt proud to be part of that club, that city, that culture, and even the fact that my daughter was born in Wales, in Swansea. For me, it's a place that I'm always going to remember. So I will say those are, the places that I treasure a little bit more than others. But every jersey that I wore, it was important. Even, as I said, all my youth clubs, but because they were all very important to become the player that I did at the end.
And I guess these are two. These are two. Can everybody hear us?
I can hear you. I don't know if everybody else can.
I don't know if they can hear it. Can anyone hear us? Okay. Um, just lost my train of thought. So, Joe, let me and this is for I'm going to ask now for some of the players that asked me to ask you some questions. But I asked you this last night, and you said you had a couple of stories for me. Who is, in your eyes, because we know you feared no one, who is the hardest defender you ever had to play against?
So I will say Zanetti and Ayala. I don't know if some of the kids remember them because they're a little bit from the old group in the past. But those two Argentine players, every time that I play against them, I will never back off. I will engage, but I got so many kicks that I knew it was going to be a tough match. Step on, and but it made it for me more exciting because I took the challenge when we play against Argentina with Venezuela. Okay. So for me, those two were two that always I expected to have a tough fight every game.
And who was the player that stopped you in your tracks? You just had to watch him play. You admired him as a player, and sometimes you come across somebody on the field, and you just sit back and you watch, and you say to yourself, "Wow, this guy's amazing." Who was that player for you?
I think if I have to say teammates, I have to remember Roberto Donadoni when I was in the Metro Stars. I had the chance to play with some very good players that had so much talent. But Roberto, the way he respected the game, the way he conducted himself as a person, the quality, his brain on the field, it was an example. The way he tied his shoe before the game, I would look at him, how he did that to make sure that I could be a better player. So he was an example. He was my roommate during the times of the Metro Stars, as well as Red Hardy at that particular time. But he was definitely, a player that I thought was incredible, and for me to learn so much about. Players that I play against, I would say a lot of the times in South America, we had the chance to play a lot of good players. Romario, Ronaldinho, Batistuta, Simeone. These are players that I can tell you the quality that they had was incredible. And being on the field with them, trying to challenge them, it was a pleasure for sure. So for me, I always took the best out of every game against the people that we play, and also my teammates, to always try to learn from them as well.
And we went over this. I asked you this the other day, and you said you had a special story for me. I said, out of all the goals you've scored, and I witnessed some of them, right? Out of all the goals you scored, which is your favorite goal? Which one meant the most to you? Which one was you know you look back and you say it just brings you back to that moment, and you say to yourself, this is the special one. This was the goal that I'll never forget.
So I had the fortune to, as a center forward, to score many goals, and I can tell you, Mike, without lying, I treasure every goal that I score, even in any competition. But there was one that I think is the most special for me. And it's tough because I remember the first goal in MLS when I scored with the Metro Stars, and so many when I went to Swansea and all the places that I've been in college. But that first goal with the national team in Venezuela, when I was 70 years old, when I played my first match, it was for me the most memorable. But I'll tell you the quick story if I can do it very quick. So I was playing that day in a different stadium, a professional. I was already a professional, so I was playing for Deportivo Italia, and we play a match, and right there, we traveled right away to the other stadium in the city of Caracas to watch play the national team against Colombia. And I was in the stand, and during the warm-up, one of the players in the national team got injured. And they knew I was in the stand, and they said, can you bring Gio downstairs to cover for him on the bench, because we need one more player. So those were the times in the 80s. And all of a sudden, I didn't have shoes, and a friend of mine had them in the bag next to me, a little bit big. But I said, listen, I'm gonna sit on the bench, and that's it. When I went downstairs, I sat on the bench. I was thrilled to have the national team jersey. I was proud. I played in all the youth levels, but being with the national team, with the full national team, was incredible. About 10 minutes to the end of the match, game 0-0, the coach said, warm up, I might put you in. I said, are you kidding me? I came here to watch this game. I'm going to play a little bit. My parents were with my grandparents watching the game downstairs. No idea I was there. I enter into the match, first ball that I touch, I score the goal. We win 1-0, and that was my first goal with the national team. In a game that I was supposed to be watching, I ended up being the one deciding the game. And in that game, and that goal for me still have a special place in my heart.
And last question here. What's behind the celebration, the sprinkler? It looked like a dancing, it was like you were doing some type of sprinkler, but it was your go-to celebration. What's behind the dance?
Yes, it was a secret thing between me and Richard Nuttall. He challenged me in something that we spoke about, and he said, "I bet you that you don't do it." And I said, I'm telling you, I'm gonna score today, and I'm gonna do it right in front of you. So if you go back and you see the first time that I did it, I go running towards him and I do that.
Right.
And it was something that we spoke about before the match, and then it became a kind of a constant thing that I always did. When I play with the Rough Riders and the Metro Stars sometimes.
So what was Richie Nuttall, and I gotta call Richie Nuttall on this one. What was it called? Because if Richie, it had to have a name. Richie's always gonna put a name behind.
There's so much behind it, too much behind that one that to be able to tell.
Right. I'm pretty sure it was something inappropriate. Gio, I can talk for you for hours. You know this. There's a couple of shout outs that the Caniglio family wanted to say hello to you. Angelo Caniglio, Christine. I told them that I give you a special shout out. But you can see that you're still loved here. A lot of old players, the Greek Americans are in the house. A lot of guys. You're well respected here, and anyone that knows you knows that you're a true gentleman. You're a family guy, and you're a hell of a player. And you're someone that I look up to. I learn from, even being on the field. And I really appreciate you taking the time and sitting down with me. And it was really awesome to reconnect with you for the last couple of days and just talk, some soccer. And it's been great, Gio. And I appreciate the opportunity and always love from me.
Mike, thank you for the invite. It's always been a pleasure for me every time that we had our conversation, every time that I saw you play, because I don't know if the kids that are there understand, that you were a very good player as well. And I enjoy watching you play. And my love to New York, to everyone, is always there. So being able to share these moments and especially with the community, I see so many people that I know. And I would love to go one by one, but there's so many that I appreciate, and I just want to say thank you to everyone. I'm always content to be able to go back to New York and talk to you guys. So it's been a real pleasure to share this moment for sure.
Awesome. We thank you here at Urbandale. Urbandale sends their love as well. Directors, you got my family sends their love. Chris, my father, Mike. Everybody sends their love, and I know that we have the Red Bulls in the area, but Portland. Hopefully you guys will be out on the field soon, and we'll be able to support you, Gio.
Thank you, Mike, and we're looking forward to to continue to support you guys, and good luck with everything, and to all the kids, keep on dreaming, keep on being passionate, believe in yourself, and remember to be tough mentally, because there are going to be moments in which are going to be difficult, and those moments are the moments that are going to make you stronger. So enjoy, believe, and hopefully we can talk again. Take care. Thank you,
Awesome.
Mike,
Awesome. You.
and hello to everybody,
Much
all the
love.
guys.
Much love. Yes, much love, Gio. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I know that there was some technical issues, but I hope that you guys were able to get something out of that. We're going to continue to do this. Obviously, we'll clean up our technical issues, but I appreciate you guys coming out. Jamie, I'm watching you. I see all those. I see everything, Jamie. But it was really awesome. Much love to you guys. Stay safe. We're going to continue to do this, and I hope that you can get something out of it. If not, it distracts you for a couple of minutes out of your day, but we'll get through this stuff. And really good to see you guys.